Hi all, I hope you're all well. I'm fine. My name is Joyce Akinyi, and that's my sign name. I'm in grade 9, and I really love playing basketball. I've been practicing up to this right now. I've been picking every point through basketball, and I've also been teaching and empowering other students so that in future we can all fly out together and be strong through basketball. What I've learned, I've been able to pick the love for basketball, incorporating it with life skills, and that has been so easier for me to continue enjoying playing basketball.
We're very excited this afternoon to be hosting the German delegation and the French delegation for this basketball experience project. And we are glad that they chose Kinyanjui Road Primary School to be the venue where they pilot this program. And these must have come because the Groth South constituency traditionally is known to be the home of talents. The talents in sports, the talents in the visual and performing arts. And this now serves as an addition to the basketball courts that we have in the constituency and encourages us to even go further and start even a local league in basketball so that we can start growing these all-important sport. More importantly, in the spirit of leaving no one behind, we are more than grateful that this court at Kinyanjui Road Primary is not just for the able-bodied, but they go further to bring up a project that will also be helping people with disability. The Groth South constituency has a disproportionately higher population of citizens who are with disability, owing to a tradition where we have housed schools, and also special homes for people living with disability. And as such, this facility is timely, it is apt, and it is in the right place.
We at NBA Kenya and at NBA Africa, one of our priorities is to create an environment where all kids, all children are able to come out and enjoy the game of basketball, learn from the game of basketball, and learn, express all the tenets of teamwork, hard work, winning, losing, etc. So it's part of our overall plan, and it's an honor to do this in partnership with AFD and with the Red Cross.
I'm very, very proud that today we can have both French ambassador and German ambassador to be able to see what we are doing with this amazing project of basketball experience here in Kenya, a project that so far has provided training for more than 7,000 children each week here in Nairobi, and that we are planning to expand as well to other schools and for children with disabilities.
We want to highlight a French initiative that is about basketball and support for the basketball sport, especially in the field of handicapped children. For us, this subject is very important in Germany because we are hosting the Global Disability Summit from the 2nd to 4th April in Berlin, together with Jordan and the Global Disability Alliance, to highlight the agenda in favor of handicapped children and people for inclusion. And inclusion, a very important element of inclusion is sports, and that's why we are here today.
I'm delighted to be here at Kinyanjui School here in Dagoretti together with Mehashimiwa and my good friend, the ambassador of Germany to Kenya here. We're here to enroll this initiative, which is bringing actually basketball practice into the schools. And we feel very, very passionate about it. France hosted last year the Olympics, but also the Paralympic Games in Paris. And we thought that this initiative, bringing basketball to the school, we need to pay special attention, as it was said, to children with special needs, with disabilities. And we were very passionate because sports is an element of inclusivity. And so we are very glad to launch this initiative whereby we basketball practice can go to the school, including the schools with children with special needs. And as it has been mentioned by my German colleague, we want to bring this practice qua ground, machinani, here. But also we want to echo it to the global issue because Germany, together with Jordan, is hosting this global summit on people with disability. So we want to illustrate through local initiative this very important issue of sports for children with special needs.
If I want quality, I'll be what I want to be. I know I can be what I want to be. If I want quality, I'll be what I want to be.
Very interesting there indeed, just seeing part of the work that is being done in terms of basketball development in the country. It looks like the afternoon has been dedicated for basketball, but it is what it is. Basketball, a fast growing sport in the country, and of course with the emergence of 3x3, then of course the full basketball, it's very, very popular. And just seeing what's happening from a primary school, high school, a development point of view, then going all the way to the mashinani, to the ghettos where our help is needed, very critical indeed. We are privileged and honored this afternoon to be joined by distinguished guests with us in studio to help us talk more about basketball development and of course involvement of the French Development Agency, involvement of the German Embassy with the basketball development programs that we are currently seeing around. We are privileged and honored to be joined by distinguished guests this afternoon. I'll start with my immediate left, where we are privileged and honored to be joined by His Excellency Ambassador Sebastian Groth, who is the German ambassador to Kenya. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Home.
Thank you very much.
Most welcome. Then to my immediate right, we are joined by His Excellency Ambassador Suquet Arnaud with us in studio this afternoon. Good afternoon, Ambassador.
Good afternoon. Mambo vipi?
Salama kabisa. Now that you've challenged me, I'll also say, bonjour is just a general word. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Ça va?
Ça va bien et vous?
Merci. Ça va bien.
Tout va bien.
Merci. Then to my farthest right, we are joined by Madame Anne Gaël Chapuis, who is the Country Director, French Development Agency, with us in studio this afternoon as well. Good afternoon, Madame.
Good afternoon.
Most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let's start off by just, maybe I'll start with you, Madame, Madame Anne Gaël. As the Country Director, French Development Agency. Talk to us more about the French Development Agency. What is it all about?
Well, the French Development Agency, as it sounds, is the French Development Bank, Public Development Bank, and we are financing here a lot of projects with the Kenyan government, mainly on infrastructures, water and sanitation, energy, education, as well as transport, urban development, and also sports. And that's my reason here.
Thank you very much. Sounds very interesting because it looks like it's all about, development of sports generally.
Well, I mean, in particular, we have developed since 5 years already throughout Africa a strategy on sports for development. We consider that more than infrastructure, it is very important to help children in particular develop life skills, to empower women and girls, and sports can be a very, very good tool for this, to promote gender equality, to promote women empowerment, to promote life skills, autonomy and citizenship, and we can do that with sports. So that's what we're doing with several of our programs in terms of sports and development.
Thank you very, very much. Your Excellency, Ambassador Suquet, just to pick from what Madame Angael has mentioned, what informed the NBA and the AFD initiative?
I think, the issue you had a bit previously on TV spoke for itself. I think we developed this partnership between AFD and NBA in order to strengthen the practice of basketball here in Kenya. And a couple of months ago, we have commissioned 2 basketball courts in Kasarani, within the Kasarani Academy of Sports. And NBA is coming in developing basketball practice in Kenya, which means also developing the infrastructure, basically the courts. If you don't have a court, you cannot practice. I think they're also coming, and I'm not talking on their behalf, in terms of scouting talents, because I think the young people of Kenya, if they practice basketball, some of them may be eligible to play in the best leagues. But when it comes to France, I think we have partnered with the NBA to make the global practice of basketball wider in Kenya, not just for performance, but also for regular practice. And so we have embarked into this program. We have enrolled more than 50 schools here in Kenya to be part of this program of basketball practice. We call it Basketball Experience. We have trained the coaches together with NBA, but also with the Kenyan Red Cross. And moving forward, we said we need to, sport, as it was said, is an important vector of inclusivity. Being for gender equality, being for inclusivity. I heard the MP for Dagoretti saying, leaving nobody behind. And so we developed part of this program to include schools that caters for children with special needs. And I'm glad that within the 50 schools, we have already included 2 or 3 schools in Kenya that are including programs with children with special needs. And that's what we did this week in Kinyuenji Primary School. We started to roll this program, targeting especially for schools with children with special need and disability.
Wow, well put there, because you can clearly see the impact and looking at impacting the community. And as we talk about that, Your Excellency, Ambassador Sebastian, as we look at this, recently Berlin hosted, hosted the Disability Summit. How was it like?
Well, it was the 3rd Disability Summit that was organized. The first one was in 2017. The second one was online during Corona, and the third one now in person, that Berlin co-hosted together with Jordan, the King of Jordan, and the International Disability Alliance. And it brought together 4,000 participants, including several delegations from Kenya, from over 100 nations. And the aim was to send a strong signal for inclusion, to support people with disability around the globe, and also to do very concrete commitments. And one of these commitments is that whenever project money is spent, 15% of this money should go towards inclusion. So what France is doing with regard to basketball here in Kenya, or what also Germany and other donors are doing, for the general public, should always have a window also for inclusion to help people with disabilities to participate and to get also opportunities and chances. That was one of the very concrete results of this summit.
That number was so huge, over 4,000.
Yes.
Turning up.
Yeah,
wow.
it is. I think it is the biggest summit on disabilities or for people with disabilities globally, and the United Nations Convention on People with Disabilities is the main vehicle to support this political project, but this conference should give support also to this convention.
Wow. Interesting indeed. Madame Anne-Gaëlle, what opportunities did you see that led to the inclusion of the deaf in the program?
Well, it's definitely something that was new. I mean, this basketball experience program has been already implemented in 3 other countries in Africa, in Morocco, in Nigeria, and in Senegal. And so far we had never had the opportunity to include people with disabilities, children with disabilities. So we had these schools who are actually here in Kenya, who are actually welcoming also children with special needs. And so we found that very interesting to be able to see how we could include that specific aspects into our program. And what was presented on Tuesday showed that we can really do something even better and higher if we can include children with disabilities in the program. We were talking about inclusivity, cohesion, team spirit. And for these children, as they explained it to us in sign language, actually, they said that for them, it was the biggest opportunity they ever had by this program, showing to the other kids what they can do. You know, it's not being deaf is not a problem, it's an opportunity for them to show what they can do. And they will participate in the final game that will be organized in September, as well as the others, which is great, which shows how we can be, as a society, inclusive to everyone. And that's the reason why we are planning to expand that program to other schools who are welcoming children with disabilities. So this is what we are planning for the next coming years, to identify more schools, thanks to the Kenya Red Cross, who is a very good implementing partner here, and see how we can move forward on this.
Wow, very interesting indeed. Your Excellency, Ambassador Suquet, we've seen that the whole program evolves around the youth and juniors. Is there a particular reason why you focused on the youth and juniors?
I think it's an obvious reason when you try to develop the practice of sports. It is catered for the young people. I think here in Kenya, 70% of the population is under 30 years old. So if you want to reach even the larger part of the population, you have to target the youth. And I think sports, I would like to say, we see sports, and I think we see in our own country, as an important vehicle for education and development. There's a couple of issues you can carry through sports program without being too intrusive. But I think sports, for example, is an important vehicle for gender equality. I think we feel very committed to that cause. When we hosted the Olympic Games last summer in Paris, it was the first time you have an equal number of athletes, men and female. We have 10,000 athletes, 5,000 were women, 5,000 were men. So when it comes to Kenya, and I think sport is an important element of a partnership we have established between France and Kenya, because we are 2 sporting nations also. I can recall that Kenya did fairly well in the Paris Olympics, being the first African nation, 17 African nation overall. France, I think, has also made those Olympics in terms of organization very successful. We finished 5th also in terms of medal globally. So that sort of binds us together. And so we're developing a lot of sports programs here in Kenya. And one of the elements, we talk about inclusivity, we talk about gender equality. I'll give you perhaps an example. We're supporting this CBO organization in Eldoret who fights against gender-based violence. It's called Syrup Sanjo. It was named after one of his athletes who was murdered, Agnes Tirop. And so the women athletes felt they need to create something and pursue her legacy fighting against gender-based violence. So we're also developing programs of that kind, sensitizing coaches also. We have embarked in a program whereby we're going to send 20 coaches in France, in Miramas. Miramas was the city that was hosting the Kenyan Olympic delegation. And as much as we develop, a coaching program, I think we want also, and I think together with Kenyan Athletics and the authority, because I know it's a national cause, we want to mainstream this issue of gender equality and the fight against gender-based violence.
Interesting, because when you look at what has informed this, based on what Madame Anne-Gaëlle has mentioned and what you've mentioned, it looks like there is a lot of inclusivity that comes into the whole practice, and it makes me ask Your Excellency Ambassador Sebastian, part of the inclusivity is to ensure that we don't leave anyone behind. From the abled body to the abled differently, which is disabilities. Is it something that now, based on the summit that was in Berlin, you want to also ensure that happens here in the country?
Yes, I think we will strengthen this work in the coming months and years. Only 2 weeks ago, I visited a TVET institution in Homa Bay that is especially looking also to giving opportunities to disabled young adults, to enable them to start a TVET program, for example, in hospitality. And I think it's still a big challenge for all the societies, but also for the Kenyan society to fully accept disabled people as members of society, as you and me and all the others, and to give them also the opportunity to find a job later, to learn something, to get educated, and to be a full part, an element of the society. So we are doing this, but we are also going into sports. We are also involved in the Train the Trainers program. So we had a basketball initiative also some years ago, where we went into 4 regions. It was Nairobi, Siaya, Bungoma, and Kilifi, where we did Train the Trainers programs. We did the same in handball and in table tennis. There's also a partnership between the German Olympic Sport Federation and the Kenya Sport Federation for disabled people, in order to help them, to support them, to give them also some ideas for policy guidelines, but also very concrete support in equipment and in training know-how.
Very, well put there indeed. Remember, you're watching KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner, and this afternoon we are privileged and honored to be joined by distinguished guests in studio with us this afternoon. His Excellency Ambassador Suquet, the French ambassador with us in studio, not forgetting His Excellency Ambassador Sebastian Groth, the ambassador, the German ambassador with us, Madame Anne-Gaëlle Chapuis, who is the country director, French Development Agency, with us in studio as well. Madame Anne-Gaëlle, just to ask you, what are some of the, positive results or some of the results that you've seen out of the program since it was, launched last year in July in Nairobi?
Well, yes. So in July in Nairobi, we launched the program and inaugurated 2 basketball courts. And then we, thanks to the very good work of the Kenya Red Cross, in collaboration with the Ministry of Sports and Education as well, we identify coaches to be trained. So that's what we've done from September to December. And then during that time, we also identified the 50 schools who could join the program and the children. And so we started actually the training sessions in January only this year. And this will last until end of 2026. So far we've had more than 7,000 children who are weekly registered to practice these training sessions with the coaches who have been trained, and then they will go into some local competitions, and this local competition will then go to the final game in September, where we will have 500 participants, yes, from the various schools will join all together for a very festive day, and showing all that has been learned during this school year. And so that's what I can see so far as a very good result of what we're doing.
Wow. At least you can put some tangible, benefits, and you can see some of the, benefits that we've seen to basketball courts this far. Let me, on a light note, Your Excellency Ambassador Suquet, you mentioned earlier on that Kenya and, France and, of course, even Germany are very big sporting nations. Earlier on today, Kenya was playing France in the rugby sevens. In the rugby sevens, HSBC leg, and Kenya beat France by 10 points to 7.
Okay.
He ignored it.
Yes, I did.
The Singapore sevens.
Well, I say Pongezi Kenya, man.
In Singapore earlier on today, and Kenya making it through to the semis. It was a surprise to many, though. Kenya beating France by 10 points to 7. That's on the same. But on a lighter note, even before we continue with the same, which club do you support in France?
You're talking about rugby or
No, football.
Football.
Yes. Are you Catalonia?
No, I mean, first I support French teams.
Oh, French teams.
Yes.
That is Olympique Lyon.
No, I'm come from Montpellier.
Oh, Montpellier.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So we won the championships 15 years ago. We have not, unfortunately, done it since. But we're still in the French First League. And so that's my team. And my second team, because I come from the south of France, is Olympique de Marseille.
Olympique de Marseille.
Yeah,
Okay, one of our great players played for some of the French leagues, French clubs that Denis Oliech, a couple of years back.
Yeah.
And before that, still on the same, Ambassador Sebastian, your team?
I know the restaurant of the mother of Denis Oliech.
Oh, you do?
Mama
Yes,
Oliech.
Mama Oliech.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good
very
one.
good reg. Yeah.
Yes.
So when you're hungry, you should go there. No, my team. I'm not so much into soccer, but I inherited from my grandpa a certain affiliation to a team called Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Oh, Mönchengladbach.
You know it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because it's more, let's say, in the lower third of the German First Bundesliga. But they are struggling, and normally the second part of the season they are doing better. So I'm still hopeful that they will somehow qualify for something. But for the championship, it will be difficult. It's normally Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, or last year it was Bayer Leverkusen, which was also a small surprise. But this year I think Bayern is leading the competition.
Yes, exactly, the
Bundesliga. Yeah, right. Yeah.
A couple of years back, KBC Channel 1 used to air, a very popular program on TV, Football Made in Germany. It made us fall in love with German football.
Wherever I go, people talk about it. It was, I think, in the 80s and 90s.
Yes,
So they all know more about these days of German football than I do. I know some of the names, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge and these guys, but I met a lot of Kenyan football specialists who know a lot about German football. It's impressive.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm also a fan of the same, and can talk about the Oliver Kahns, going all the way to Stefan Effenberg, some big names.
He played at Borussia Mönchengladbach, Stefan Effenberg.
Oh, good.
That's where he grew up. Yeah.
Very interesting indeed. Sorry, madam, we deviated a bit into some football. But, just to give you highlights of how that happened today, Kenya beating France. I don't know whether my director can just play highlights of that, how that unfolded, please, earlier on in the day. If you have it, please run it.
France and Kenya in Pool B. It's fallen into the hands of Festus Chiasa. All good tackling from France. They haven't had the ball yet really in anger, so they're having to do a lot of defensive work early on here. Still smarting after that defeat to Argentina in the Cup final in Hong Kong last week. Sati again does well. Become a key player for this team, as is this guy. Oro. There's a Varian Pasquet, number 19, a gold medalist from Paris last year with the French team. Didn't play in Hong Kong. Onyala, Vincent Onyala. Oh, paints a beautiful picture. Does Vincent Onyala. Kenya get the opening score.
Yeah, he's just saying, just remember us, this Kenyan team. Like I said, very strong ball in two hands there. Decides to tuck it, go on the outside, skips out of the tackle. And they deserve this. They've dominated everything. 21 passes. So they've had all the ball compared to France's none.
Bobbled away from R4. Yeah, he left his feet and he had to let it go. So here come Kenya again, trying to turn the screw on France here. Asati gets the ball away, juggled but held, and there's the offload for George Oro. And there's their second try. Kenya corner. And he will throw this line. Oro will be the target. Contested by France, and it's gone forward off Kenya. So here comes Varian Pasquet. Gregoire Afoy just manages to keep it in field. Afoy had another big weekend in Hong Kong. Running in tries en route to that cup final appearance. Liam Delamare, who missed the game earlier today. Here's Sherry Kerry Karabakh. Scores in the corner for France. They're back.
Oh man, there's some beautiful footwork here.
Kicker.
Oh, Kerry Karabakh, you watch it here. Won't get a better view. Bang, bang, bang. Ooh, yeah, sharp, all right.
Well, you got Liam Delamare there, who's out of Montpellier. They are sharing players. Nigel Amaitsa for Kenya to put them through to the final four. Kenya corner erupts. Their second win of the day. They've knocked out France, and they are into the cup semi-finals. The shoes are...
Ambassador Suquet.
I'll say, Congolais to Shuja.
Thank you.
Kwa machi mzuri. You know, you have defeated the Olympic champion. France is the Olympic. We got the gold medal in the last game.
Correct. And your star player, wasn't there.
But yeah, Antoine Dupont, who is our best player, plays both 7 and 15.
Correct.
And France won the Six Nation tournament, but unfortunately in the last game he got injured.
Correct.
But anyway, it's a fantastic performance from Kenya. So well done. I wish actually that, I think it's great first that Kenya managed to reach that league. I think for a long time.
Correct. The
seven were not, the Shuja were not part of this league. And I think this game shows that, the level is there. That's their place, and they should continue playing those big teams. And I'm looking forward for a revenge, a second game, and I hope one day they can play either in France or in Kenya. That will be fantastic.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
And looking at the results of late, France has always been getting the better of Kenya. Today was a surprise to many. Kenya beating France.
But you deserve your victory.
Thank you. We give credit to both teams. And still with you, before we go to Ambassador Sebastian, Your Excellency Ambassador Suquet, we've seen the program, and like she brought out some positives, some of the impacts that we've seen. About 8,000 boys and girls have come out of the program. Do you think that's a big number? Are you surprised, or do you think there is an opportunity to even do bigger numbers?
No, I think we can do bigger because we have a system in place. We have good partners. We have a fantastic partnership with the Kenyan Red Cross, and it enables us to go to mashinani, to all the schools. So I think we can expand the program first in Nairobi, because I think so far the program is centered around Nairobi, or the greater Nairobi. But as we move forward, I'd like, this program to roll out in different cities outside of Nairobi, in different counties, being Mombasa, being Kisumu, Nakuru, Eldoret. So And it speaks to the interests. You know, when we roll this kind of program, I think it works. You don't have any problem of enrollment. The kids are integral part of that, and I think the schools and the school teacher, the school principals are totally on board. So I'm very optimistic we can multiply the impact. I think when it comes to sport, you know, it taps into the talent and the energy of the young people. So it's just about giving them the enabling space and the opportunities, and they will seize it.
And as we talk about that, because once the opportunity is given, they seize it, and it needs a lot of involvement from different stakeholders. Your Excellency, Ambassador Sebastian, you know, you mentioned inclusivity. You were in Homa Bay, you know, sometimes back. Are we looking at working with other, you know, county governments or even the national government in terms of bringing this exclusivity so that we can use sport to even grow these programs into bigger, you know, spaces?
Yes, indeed, we are working with the national associations that are dealing with this issue, be it the Sport Federation for Disabled People or the other sport federations. And we help them to work on a curriculum to include the disabled children also in the sports program in schools, for example, because of course they need a special training, and they need also special trainers that have the capability to take care of them and to really include them also into all the different sports. And I think also the partnership between the federations in Germany or in France and the federation here in Kenya is very, very important as a peer-to-peer mentorship. And last year we had a big delegation from the German Olympic Sport Federation here in Kenya, and we want to continue this work because, as Arnaud said, sport is a very, very easy vehicle to connect to the people and to gain their enthusiasm. And it's good to see also how much talent we have in Kenya in sports. I mean, everybody knows about the runners, of course, but now we know about rugby also. We know about some famous soccer players. We have some famous tennis players also, Angela. And so I think it's a nation on the move in terms of sport. That will achieve big results in the future, and we want to support this.
Wow. Now that you've spoken about, you know, the tennis stars, it takes me back to, you know, the Boris Beckers. Oh, yeah. Boris Beckers of this world, big names from a tennis point of view. Let's come to you, Madam, you know, Anne Gael. As we continue developing the program, are we likely to see clinics that will grow the technical aspect of it? Because you must be having coaches, you know, who are coming into this. Are you looking at clinics to grow the technical expertise of the teams handling these programs?
Yes, we are, so now that we will move into a new component of the program with children with disabilities, we will need to train new coaches and to actually have coaches who can train these children with specific needs. So there will be specific training for these, and this is something that we will include in our program. The training of the coaches is an important part as well of our program, because we're training coaches in terms of techniques, basketball techniques, and this is being done by the NBA. And we're also training them into the life skills techniques that we're trying to put into the clinics. So these are the two main aspects that we're trying to provide to these coaches. And this is an important part of it. NBA is really working on basketball techniques and training coaches, more and more coaches on basketball techniques. And the Kenya Red Cross has developed modules to train the coaches as well to be life skills coaches on top of being basketball coaches.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Suquet, you know, Madam Shapwi mentioned earlier on 2 basketball, you know, courts being done. You also alluded to the same in Kasarani. Where do you see the program in the next 10, 10 years or so, if we continue with the same momentum that you're currently, witnessing at the moment? Do you see it growing very big and having many basketball courts?
I think so. I think there's a component within the program, and this is more of a part of the NBA, to build infrastructure. And more generally in Kenya, I think all partnerships are also aiming in sort of uplifting infrastructure, because as much as you do training programs, you need to have a proper infrastructure where you can train people. And so I think there is an objective, I think, of 100 courts, if I'm not wrong, in the years to come, to be built within this program. And then obviously you need to have the ecosystem in place whereby schools, everybody, not only performance, but the regular Nanchi or children in school can use those facilities. So it's a two-leg program. There's one into infrastructure and one into sort of coaching and increasing practice, through schools. But I think in all the partnership we have in the field of sport, there is always this dual component. There's always a soft part, which is, training. You are mentioning clinics. Sports medicine is an important, element of our programs, especially when it comes to performance long-distance running. Because as much as you have talent, you need to protect those talents. And so bringing a certain degree of knowledge of sports medicine within the fraternity of coaches is an important element. To avoid injury or long injuries, to avoid illegal substances. So this is a program we designed, but also we're thinking about developing infrastructure. And we have signed an MOU with the government, with the Ministry of Youth, to develop in 3 or 4 counties small-scale grassroots multimodal sports infrastructure that could be used by the young people to express their talent, to nurture their talent, and eventually to monetize that talent. So we feel very enthusiastic about those 2 parts of program, infrastructure and more a softer part.
Thank you very much. As we look at that, let's cross over to Ambassador, Ambassador Sebastian. Your Excellency, what can we expect now from the German, from the German government or the German ambassador's, office, now that the program seems to be growing? 4,000 attended the Berlin stakeholders, or the Berlin Disability Summit. It means it's growing. What can we expect going forward?
So we will continue also our work. We have a big program, Sports for Development, that is run by GIZ, that is also constructing a lot of sport pitches, basketball pitches, and I opened one in Turkana 1 year ago, and that was really impressive. But we will also continue hosting Kenyan trainers at our sports academy in Leipzig. So every year we have a program where football trainers, basketball trainers, handball trainers are invited to take part in 2 to 4 weeks courses in Leipzig. We will also deepen the partnership between the Olympic Federation in Germany and the Olympic Federation here in Kenya. The head of the German Olympic Federation just was in Kenya 1 month ago and met his Kenyan counterpart, and they already agreed on some sports that Kenya and Germany will partner. Also, we from the embassy side, we have a small budget to support teams with equipment. So these are all the things that we want to do. I think the main part also is to help the federations here in Kenya to develop a systemic approach in supporting sports here in this country, to have transparent structures also and function properly, and then to identify also talents and bring them up for the next generation of Kenyan champions.
When you mention Kenyan champions, the yesteryears when Kenya has been most successful in football were under, German tacticians. Yes. So we've had the late Reinhard Fabisch. Yes. In the yesteryears, Bernhard Zogol, Manfred Steves was in the country. Lots to talk about from the German connection. Yes. Your Excellency, Ambassador Sebastian, thank you very much for making time. Your Excellency, Ambassador Suquet, Thank you very much as well, Madame Chapuis. We really appreciate all of you making time to be with us and just enlighten us, about the program, about what's happening from an NBA point and the inclusivity. Thank you very much. I think in French I'll say merci beaucoup.
Asante sana.
Asante sana.
Asante sana.
In German I'll say danke.
Okay, karibu.
Asante. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.